For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, as the month of July rolls along, we've got a very important guy with us to tell us all about what's happening all summer. Mr. Bohm, Mr. Jeffrey Bohm, welcome back to the Focus set, sir. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me in.
You and a fellow by the name of Dave Vanderbosch have got a project coming up down in Marine City, the beginning part of August, but we needed to get you in here to promote it and talk about it, and it's called the Battle of the Bands. What's that all about?
Yeah, well, Dave kind of fouled off a little bit about what we were doing with the music in St. Clair, and he said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
Basically raise some money for charity, so it's August 17th, 18th, whatever the date is right in there, but they have two different bands that kind of battle it out. One does one set, the other does the other set. One would be represented by St. Clair, one would be represented by Marine City. Second night it would be Algonac, and then Marine City.
That's a cute idea.
Yeah, and then you pay $1 towards for your favorite band. Proceeds go to the booster clubs. Yeah,
booster clubs.
Yeah, and really, just has really kind of become their big event that they have down there in Marine City. I mean, super well attended. Like
it's the fourth year, I think.
Year three.
Year three.
Actually.
Okay.
Yep. He came. He talked about it to me the one time, and I looked at him and I said, Dave, that's a great idea. I'm just mad I didn't think about it. Yeah, because we've seen what the music has even done in St. Clair, you know, to build the crowds out. I mean, I was down there last Friday, and there to be 500 people sitting in that courtyard, you know,
wonderful.
And even, yeah, so that's part of our 133 shows that we have this summer, plus some pop-ups. So we're probably doing about 140 live shows. We're doing some things intentional across from LaCroix's Riverside Pub. There's an elevated fishing pier on the north wall.
Yes.
So on Fridays from 5 to 9, Saturdays noon to 4, Sunday noon to 4, we actually have people playing.
That's new.
We did that last year. This is year 2, and it's really to welcome the boaters when they come into town. You know, then when the boats get into the marina there, they you know, what's going on over there? You know, we got more music going on downtown. It's to welcome people, to B, to try to really
that idea.
Well, to get the boat traffic, you know, those boaters getting downtown and spending some money.
I always thought it was really cool years ago when they got the bagpiper up at Mackinac on Saturday morning pushing the boats out. So it's a similar idea. Music and entertainment and fun and excitement.
Music, welcome to St. Clair.
Yeah.
People come down just because something's going on. It was funny the first year that we did it. The very first day, one of the guys that I know that was in the marina was talking to some mutual friends in Port Huron. 11 of them came down in 2 boats, you know. Next thing they all went out to lunch and dinner. And I mean, they weren't sure what they were doing that day. And they said, yeah, well, come on, we'll run down and see you, you know. So those little types of things, it just helps move the needle in town. And let's face it, we look a lot different than we did 5 years ago in that center courtyard. And just even with Hamlin Pub now, I've got to know the owners quite well down there, and he's really happy with, you know, the results. And, you know, at the end of the day, they got a major investment in that place too.
I was told the other day that there was a dumpster out in front of Hamlin Pub, and it was for an expansion into the backside of the St. Clair Art Association.
So they are putting more cooler space.
They need more coolers.
They need more cooler space, yeah. So
that's a positive. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. They bought a portion of the space from the art fair, and that they're putting that in and stuff. Yeah, so that's been
win-win for both of them.
I tell you, win-win for just the town. And you know, you're talking to somebody that has been here since 1972, which you had the 2 grocery stores, you know, 2 pharmacies, you had 3 shoe stores back then. I mean, your whole economy lived in that mall. And then it kind of, you know, we saw the advent of the larger malls and kind of sucked the smaller communities dry. But now we've really flipped the script. We got Sweet Tooth, you know, from Marine City.
Yeah.
Talked to those guys. Those guys are doing gangbusters. And the new ice cream
Can't remember the name of the
I think Foster's.
Yeah, Foster. I think it is Foster.
So I always say those are businesses that aren't your first ones, and that's the icing on the cake, right? And I think I look at St. Clair now. Years ago, the St. Clair Inn had to do well for the city to do well.
Right.
and we well know St. Clairen's, starting to move forward and stuff, but the city is doing great, actually, without the St. Clair Inn.
Right. Yes,
So
it
once
is.
the St. Clair Inn gets up and running, which it will someday, get running on all 8 cylinders.
New owners
Just-
coming in.
Yeah, that's just, that will really just drive additional traffic and opportunity in the mall. I know it because I field a lot of phone calls from people that have interest in doing different things.
A lot of new construction, new homes, a couple subdivisions, so that's all positive stuff.
Well, you need the housing. I mean, I was just talking to the fellows from Magna yesterday. They're at 600 employees right now, and they're going to continue to grow that to somewhere 1,300. And the thing that I really probably underestimated with Magna was how much of a world economy that they play in. I mean, you talk to people over there. They're from Brazil. They're from Russia, Poland. A lot of those engineering types of jobs and stuff. Those guys are coming from all over. I'd never really thought about that piece of it.
I saw a picture the other day of the interns that were going to be at Magna. It looked like the United Nations.
Yeah, it's funny. That's what I refer to it as too. But I had a really good story, and I know Times Herald just recently did an article, and they quoted me on it. I met 4 kids. When I say they're kids, they're 31 to 34 years old.
Those
I
are
was
young
chit-chatting
people.
with them, down at the Hamlin. One of the individuals, he's a 3rd generation robotics kind of guy. His grandpa did, his dad did, and they had to travel their entire careers to make a living because those opportunities didn't exist here. He now is working at Magna, and he told me, I can put my 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old to bed every night.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
want-
different.
It's life changing.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
somebody when he told me when I got out of high school, I never thought I'd have an opportunity here locally in this field because it didn't exist.
Right.
Right. So now you have that today. So that's why we work so hard in our positions to try to attract those types of companies, and those are real life, changing stories. So.
Good. Election coming up, the first part of August. You're on the ballot. Other people are on the ballot.
August 6th, everybody's probably getting tired of looking at my signs, so am I. So it's always one of those bittersweet, like to see it come, like to see it go.
So good luck there, and thanks for all you're doing for the communities.
Yeah, no, we got the big boat race weekend coming up next week, and I know we got some guys from Knucklehead Racing going to be talking, which is probably a pretty appropriate name for that team because I know the owner of that team,
yes,
the
that's right.
head
They're
Knucklehead.
over there in the corner, yeah.
The head Knucklehead.
The head Knucklehead. Jeff Bohm, always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back with the aforementioned Knucklehead in just a second. Back, and next weekend is a huge weekend in St. Clair. It's St. Clair Classic, St. Clair Auto Boat Show.
St. Clair River Classic.
St. Clair River
30th year.
30th anniversary, and Edward Smith, the man himself, is here today.
Come on.
Talk to us about it.
Well, actually, this is the 30th running of the St. Clair River Classic out here in the city of St. Clair. And I brought one of my competitors here.
Let's hear about it.
This is Brian Clinic.
Brian, he wanted to sit close to you.
I know, but I told him no, he's got to stay back just a little bit. But Brian has bought another 42 Fountain, which is one of the first ones that Reggie had for his kilo run. And he's been putting it together to race against me. And we should have at least 3 V Extremes for this year.
Oh, wonderful. Where are you from?
Clinton Township, Michigan.
Oh, that's a long way away. I mean,
About a half an hour.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the racers come from New Jersey. They come from Florida. They come from all over the world. So have a guy this close, this is great.
Well, it isn't because the boats have been fighting a little bit in the building. His boat's in my shop right now.
Uh-oh.
And every once in a while in the morning we got to go up there and there's a mess on the floor. They're throwing stuff back and forth.
Right.
But it'll be interesting when the flag goes up on Sunday.
Edward, let's go back 30 years.
Okay.
How did this thing get started, the St. Clair River Classic?
There was a group of gentlemen and one lady that was instrumental in putting this together. And the ringleader was Dave Goodman from Tiger Fiberglass.
Dave. Right.
Him and Kenny McMartin.
Right.
And everybody, I believe, remembers Ray Scuda.
Yeah, Ray.
Yeah, Uncle Ray. And then they had turned around and decided to do this here, and they started this, and it's just growing every year.
And I think they had 12 boats that first year or something?
Something like that, 10 or 12. But it's been one of the longest, pretty much one of the longest running race sites continuously every year in the country.
And you are affiliated with the Offshore Racing Association,
Blue
which is
Water Offshore Racing Association.
and the OPA itself,
Yes.
which is a national thing, and you end up in Key West every year.
We end up down in Englewood, Florida.
Englewood.
Yes, Englewood, Florida. There is a race in Key West, but the OPA Worlds is in Englewood, Florida.
Okay. And you've been participating in that over the years, in and out sometimes?
Close to 30 years.
Close to 30 years, okay.
Yeah, it's been that way.
stuff.
And there's a couple things that I would like to bring up to the viewers here
Yeah.
for race weekend. And I don't have a teleprompter, but I do have some notes.
You take those notes.
Yeah. There might be a possible change in the race format
Okay,
on Sunday.
all right. We're going to run
If-
backwards?
Well, no, if everybody remembers the issue we had with the freighters last year.
Yes.
The racers sitting in them boats and that, it's like being in a fishbowl, was really hot.
Yep.
It got to be a hassle. The safety teams were sitting out there in the heat.
Yeah.
All of our safety personnel, it got to be a challenge. So this year, depending upon how the freighters go, and Bob Courier, which is the VP of
Right.
Water Offshore, he does race control. He'll be in contact with them, and they may move the races up a little bit,
Okay.
or they're going to try to adjust them so we don't get the freighter interference.
Okay.
So for the people out there coming to town, I would highly recommend them coming a little earlier than noon,
Oh, okay.
because normally we do our float down at 12.
Right.
But if not, if things are going to get dicey, we may do the float down at 11
Okay.
and start racing at 11:30. We don't want
Depending upon
anybody,
how the freighters are.
correct, and we don't want to have anybody miss that.
He said he was at Rotary a couple of weeks ago, and he spoke very well, very eloquently, and he said that last year was the largest amount of freighters that the race has ever had in 30 years.
Right.
And he hopes that doesn't happen again this year.
Right.
And he's reached out to the captains and made some contacts, so hopefully it's not as bad as it was last year.
Well, we hope so too,
Yeah.
because we do have quite a large super stock fleets coming, so that's going to be a great race. V Extreme, which is the class I'm in, of course, Brian's running. Smitty from OPA is bringing
Yeah.
his over here, so we're going to have at least 3 fountains in that, and then Mike Knobloch from American Custom Marine, he has one, but he runs in extreme class. He's got larger engines.
Tell me about your career. How long you been racing, and
Been
where do you
racing
race?
since 06, 07. I started with the OPA. Then I went down to Florida and raced SBI for a long time. And then about 10 years ago, I had a heart attack in Key West racing the Worlds.
Okay,
So I took a break, and now I'm coming back because I miss it.
right.
So it's time. I'm going to get back in the boat, and we're going to see what happens. Hopefully I can give him a run for his money.
He needs it.
Yes, he does.
He's just been sitting here, collecting trophies.
He's held the sport together, this class, for a long time.
Yes.
And people go, well, he's out there racing by himself, and that's not what it's about.
No.
He kept the class alive, and now the boats are starting to come back out of the hardware again.
Oh,
They're
good.
coming out of the fork. Guys, they're starting to pop up, so we're hoping we're going to build the class back up to its glory days.
So tell me about your boat.
It's a 42 fountain. It used to be the Rio Roses. It said 2 world kilo records.
Wow.
At the fountain factory down in North Carolina. One year it ran 161 was the average in the kilo, and then the next year they changed the motors, went with smaller motors, and it ran like 123 average both ways. So it's always been a fast boat, and hopefully I can bring her back to her glory days.
Well, somebody needs to beat this guy.
Well, don't count out Smitty from OPA. He's another one you got to watch.
He's going to come with a lot of steam in that boat.
Honestly,
Yes,
Because
he
you
is.
know-
Who's going to be riding with you this year?
Well, Anthony, I didn't want to put this out today, but I will. Anthony Smith was my throttle man ever since I bought the boat.
Right.
Well, his father, his father picked this boat up, and they put it together. Of course, now he's going to run with his father.
Oh, okay.
So back when the boat was Instigator, when Peter Myers had first put it together, Johnny Stantz used to drive it for him. I met with Johnny Stantz over in Atlantic City here 3 weeks ago and asked him to run with me in Atlantic City and finish the season. He has agreed.
There you go.
So we're two old guys that's going to get in a boat, and we're going to give this young buck a run for his money.
I like it. I like it.
Two old knuckleheads in
Oh.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So
Gentlemen, it's going to be a fun weekend. So the boats come to towns when?
the boats will start coming in usually on Wednesday, Thursday. On Wednesday, they'll come out to the marina, and then we'll bring them into town on Thursday with the road closure. But I want to bring something else up too. We are having a block party this year.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
going to be
that.
it's going to be new. It's going to be on Clinton. I know traffic's going to be hectic, but I just hope that everybody kind of gets along because it's going to be good for LaCroix's,
Yeah.
Ted's, all them restaurants, Murphy's Inn and that,
Yeah.
along Clinton, because normally everything's focused downtown.
Right.
And we're going to do it from the, I think it's, they're by the
Friday evening, I think.
Yeah, Friday evening from 6:30
To 9 or
until
something.
9. And it's going to be a meet and greet. The boats are going to be in the road, and they're going to have a little detour around. And it'll be by the bank,
Okay,
from the bank up to Fredmore Highway.
good.
So I hope everybody turns around and just kind of acknowledges it and
Yeah.
go with the flow. It's going to be a fun thing. And then on Sunday, the V Extreme team, we have hired a face painter for the kids.
Oh, wonderful.
So the kids can come down to the races.
And they can
and-
have their images made in Ed Smith's likeness.
Well, they probably don't want to do that. The parents will say no. But we have taken care of it, and she's going to turn around, and any kids that want
Okay.
to have their face painted, it's all.
Where is it going to be at?
Well,
Sunday?
we're going to, once we get home, we're going to try to have it with the boats.
Okay.
Have her down there where the big extreme boats are.
Okay.
And we're going to be from where the Hamlin pub is going north.
Oh, okay. Up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to town.
Thank you.
Glad you're feeling better. Nice to see you, brother.
Thank you,
Always
sir.
a pleasure. Have a great race, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you could have a tie.
Nah.
That doesn't work.
That's not going to work. Okay. We're going to be back with the harbor master that maybe will control these guys a little more than I can. We'll be right back. Well, we've got an old employee that's back with us by the name of Carly Ramo.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Good to be back.
She worked for me for an hour, and then Dave stole her, and I never saw her again. The harbor master of St. Clair, the St. Clair Marina Harbor. What's the proper title?
The Charles
Charles
Moore.
F. Moore.
Correct. And it's 54 years it's been there.
Wow.
That's when they developed it and christened it on June the 27th, 1970. It was right along with the urban renewal
Okay.
for the rest of the city. The harbor was completely redone.
I've never driven by the. I'm brand new to the community. I've never driven up into the harbor. How many slips have you got there?
There's 120.
That's a lot of slips.
There is, and half of them are for seasonal boaters, people that keep their boats there from April 1st through October 15th. And then the other 60 we hold for transient dockers, so that they can stay up to 7 days. And you know, we have 2 docks that are designated transient dock, and then also across from Burger King and Dale Carney, that's called our north wall. We have another 12 broadside slips there. And the other thing that's nice with our harbor too is a few years ago they put in 200 foot of floating dock.
Yes.
And that's a shopper dock that's free up to 5 hours. So, and especially
That's almost behind Ted's.
yeah, the Ted's Coney Island, it kind of floats in there, and there's new steps and walkway been put in there, and the Rotary has paid a lot of attention to that area. So
Yep.
it's really dressed up nice and has added a lot to the whole community.
Tell us about your employment at the harbor. What is it like to work at the harbor in St. Clair?
Well, I'm a dock attendant down there, so I mean, my main job is to help boaters with getting into their slips and then the gas stock. So we help boaters with that. And then, I mean, in between there, you just take care of the grounds, make sure everything's running smoothly.
You make him behave?
Yeah, that's my biggest job.
One thing that they do also, Paul, is everybody has to, and they all share in the same work, whether they're a senior a dock attendant like Carly or a newbie, they all do all of the jobs. I mean, we have kayak rentals and the fish cleaning station and a lot of work on the grounds, and they all get to clean the restrooms also. So when they're new, I take a picture of them and send it to their mother to show them what they're capable of.
And you never have been able to go home since, have you? You're a junior at Central Michigan?
Going into my sophomore year.
Going into your
now.
sophomore
Yep.
year. And your major?
Exercise science.
Oh, wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful. All right, you guys are here to talk about a Mardi Gras party.
Oh, yeah.
The harbor has actually one annual party, and it started, you know, I think back probably about 20 years ago. I think,
really?
I think some of the boaters were there after the boat races were over. They thought, we don't have any activity now through the end of the boating season, and they decided to put something together, and they called it the Mardi Gras. And this is my 7th season there, so we've
Wow.
continued the tradition, and it's nice. You know, we get involved in it, the staff does, but it's something for the community also. It's not strictly just for the boaters. And
Oh, the general public can come?
sure,
Yeah.
it's and the other thing that we do is we always pick a charity or a nonprofit because we have some drawings and different
Yeah.
things, and it generates a few dollars. And this year it's going to be the St. Clair Ecumenical
Pantry?
Pantry, and it's
Mary Brown and that great group
correct.
of people?
And what we would ask for our people, we'll go over what we're going to do that day, but it's nice if they bring a donation. We'll have some collection area. When I spoke with one of the workers there, they were talking about how many pounds, they like to have X amount of pounds of food available, non-perishable, and they said we'd love to have 2,000, but they're down somewhere around 300-400. I think with the summertime, the high cost of groceries, so we're going to do what we can to help them.
So what are you looking for specifically?
Well, I think, you know, like canned goods
Okay.
and packaged goods, things that are non-perishable.
Okay.
So we'll collect them and make sure that they get over to the food pantry, you know, a day or so after.
So if I'm
the
coming, grab a can of soup and
Yeah,
bring it
a
with
can
me?
of soup, a box of crackers.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of different things that, you know, we'll see that they receive so that they can distribute to the people that really need them.
Okay.
And it is tougher. I think, you know, just food prices have gone wild the last few years. So
Yeah.
it's something that could really help out those people that help the community.
Mardi Gras party itself, is there an admission price?
Now, I'll tell you, and I don't know, Carly, do you want to tell a little bit of
Yeah.
how it operates, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's probably my favorite event of the year. I think it's super fun because we get to, I mean, obviously we're working and we're making sure it's all going well, but it's also a lot of fun, and you get to hang out with all the boaters that
You've known all summer.
you've known all summer, and
Yeah.
then it's not just boaters. There's always a ton of people there, so there's always something to do. But yeah, it's totally free. We take donations, obviously, but then the staff,
And those donations go to
The
the pantry?
the pantry
pantry.
this year, yep.
Okay.
And we grill, so we have a bunch
Oh.
of food donated from Murphy's Inn. So the staff will always grill hot dogs and hamburgers, and they're totally free. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
How many employees are there at the harbor that are like you? Are they high school kids and college kids?
Yeah, there's 12 of us
Yeah,
right
12.
now, so we have a pretty high number this year. There's a couple who have some seniority, and we have a lot of new people. So I think it'll be super fun for a lot of the new people to experience it for the first time, because I
So-
love doing it.
When do you start as a summer employee and when do you end?
So the season is April 1st, it opens, and then closes October 15th. So it's like a 4-month span of boating season. So it's a pretty longer time than you'd expect.
Yeah, right.
and it is. I mean, you know, Carly's in college now,
Right.
so it's, you know, we try to find some high school students to fill in, and the college kids come back, and they're more the senior people.
Got to
But-
have get a great tan.
Well, it is. You get a great tan, and I don't have to get involved too much. The older attendants really pay attention and teach the younger ones, and in the 7 years I've been there, it's been a a nice rotation of.
Right.
And after people are about 20 years old, it seems like it's time for an internship and whatever they're going to do. And
Right.
so it's the age of the workers are pretty much from 16 to 20. But on the Mardi Gras, a couple things that we do, it's free, and what's important is that our seasonal boaters love it. The transient boaters fill up right away as soon as they can, but it's open to the public, and we get a lot of folks from in town come. I think, over the years, the most popular band around has been the Gobies.
Yes.
And they always come and play. We get the stage from
The county.
the county. We set it up in the parking lot. And Murphy's has been kind enough to donate hamburgers, hot dogs, and buns. And the senior staff will man the grills. We do those. We have a donation jug, but the food is free, which is
Okay.
nice. And then the only thing that we ask is bring your lawn chair, bring your beverage of choice. We'll have water there. If it's something
Okay.
other than water, bring it along. We have picnic tables. It's really a fun night.
One of the things the citizens of St. Clair don't realize a lot of times is that there's camping there too. Talk to
Correct.
me about that.
We have 9 campsites.
Really?
And I'll tell you, this is Thursday night. They're probably about half full, but by this time tomorrow, they'll be full. Every weekend they're full. Same thing, we limit it to 7 days so that somebody can't. We get people request, can I
Leave
stay
your
the
unit.
summer or a month or something? That's, it's not fair to everyone else. And a lot of the boating groups that come in, a few members have gotten out of boating. They're into RVing, so
Right.
they come and they can still
Be with their
party
friends.
with their friends
Yeah.
and so on. So it's worked out pretty good. And over the years, we have the food pantry this year, but we've had different groups. We had the SNAP group at one time,
Yep.
Kids in Distress, the St. Clair County Dive Team. Last year, Ronald McDonald House was
Yes.
and it's usually somewhere around, we can generate a couple $1,000 to
Okay.
check for these people. So it'll be nice this year to double down, because we'd ask them to bring a food, but we'll still have our drawings and our donation for the food. So I think that we should be able to help the pantry out pretty much with this program that we're going to have.
Now, is there some remodeling or construction going to happen this fall in the marina?
Yeah, the marina was redone in 2007.
That's a long time ago.
They took out most of the permanent
She wasn't
docks.
even born.
Yes, I was.
And they put in floating docks, and it's interesting. So those have been there about 16 years, and they're starting to get a little tired, especially the top board. So what we did this summer is we used our dock number 1, which is the shortest one, to redeck it to see what it looked like. And along with the city superintendent, we got our heads together, and he contacted RISA and the building class.
Really?
From RISA. We got the wood locally from Beaver.
Yeah.
They're high-end lumber, and the RISA class with their teachers and
Kenny Siggett.
correct. And there was another fellow who was a little older who was like the foreman on the job, but I'll say the guys, but there were a couple of gals in the class also.
Good,
And
good.
they spent a weekend.
Women are taking over.
Well, she was the one doing the cutting.
Okay.
The precision part. But anyways, a weekend and a few days beyond that, they redid Dock 1, and now we have, for this winter, Dock 3 and Dock 4, which are 2 major docks we're going to redo. And then also a lot of fishing, a lot of boat launching goes on at the harbor, and same thing, that launch is getting pretty tired, so we're going to redo that this winter also. We'll get the bids for the steel, and once again we'll get the wood from Beaver, and either our DPW guys or we'll have the building class put those together.
Was I confused about some work in Rotary Park?
We applied for a grant on that, which we did not receive. So
Okay.
we're rethinking that, but the
That was to
Rotary
replace
Park
that whole boardwalk.
that boardwalk.
That's a big job.
The boardwalk part isn't that big of a job, but they were looking at the seawall, and
Oh,
is the
okay.
seawall strong enough, and it turned into a multi-million-dollar project.
Right.
So it's being rethought a little bit and re-examined. But the same thing there. We'll redo the boards. We'll redo some power there, but we're not sure about the actual wall itself.
First weekend in August, what time does it start?
We open up at 6 o'clock. We'll have food available then. The Gobies play from 7 to 11 on the stage. We'll have a couple of 50-50 draws. It's really a nice night. It's a lot of fun. The weather has cooperated the 6 years I've been there, so I hope it continues again. And these guys, I just wanted to show you how the staff gets involved in this.
Well, we got to get a tight shot of this. The guys will come up and give me a tight shot of that, fellas.
They sell the tickets.
There we go. Zoom in on that. I got to get. This is Carly in her other outfit.
That was my
Look at
first
that. Look
year.
at that.
Yeah.
That's a great. I can see that smile. I know that smile from anywhere, but that took you a little while to put together.
Yeah, seriously, there's a lot of decorating that goes on and preparation, but it's always fun. It's always worth it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good luck in school this fall.
Thank you.
And always, when you want to quit him, you're always welcome back here.
Okay,
David,
thanks, Paul.
always a pleasure.
I'll look forward to you and Mary Ellen coming down and dancing with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's your invitation too to come to the St. Clair Boat Harbor, the Charles F. Moore Boat Harbor, and enjoy Mardi Gras first weekend in August, right after the boat races. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingaman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingaman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.